Hello and welcome to Mr. Game Review Show. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, hit the like button and put a comment below the video. Thank you so much. The New Zealand story for the Sega Mega Drive is a port of the original arcade classic by Taito, which first came out in 1988. It's a colorful, quirky platformer that stars Tiki, a kiwi bird, on a mission to rescue his friends who have been kidnapped by a leopard seal. The game was known for its whimsical charm and creative level design, and these qualities carry over into the Mega Drive version, though not without a few issues. The visuals on the Mega Drive version are vibrant, staying true to the original arcade's light-hearted, cartoony style. The environments range from forests to urban landscapes, each filled with obstacles and enemies. However, the graphics on the Mega Drive are a bit less detailed compared to the original arcade version, and while still appealing, they lose some of their sharpness. The music is upbeat and playful, fitting the game's whimsical tone. The soundtrack is a highlight, but the sound effects can be a bit repetitive and grating, especially the constant jumping sounds. The core gameplay is classic platforming, with an emphasis on exploration and vertical movement. Tiki can jump, fly using balloons, and shoot arrows at enemies, and there's a surprising amount of variety in how levels are structured. The controls, however, feel a bit stiff compared to the fluidity of the arcade original, which can make some of the more precise platforming sections frustrating. The game also has a rather steep difficulty curve, particularly in later levels where enemy placement and environmental hazards become relentless. This is typical of arcade-style games, but it can feel a bit unforgiving, especially for players who aren't used to old-school platformer difficulty. The levels are designed with a nice balance of challenge and creativity, and it's satisfying to discover hidden areas and shortcuts. However, the difficulty spikes can sometimes feel a bit uneven. Some levels flow smoothly, while others bombard you with enemies and tricky jumps in a way that can feel more punishing than fun. There's also a time limit on each stage, which adds extra pressure, but it can sometimes detract from the enjoyment of exploring the levels. The New Zealand story on the Sega Mega Drive is a solid, if somewhat imperfect, port of a beloved arcade classic. Its charm, colorful visuals, and engaging level design make it worth playing, but the occasional control issues and high difficulty level can be off-putting to newcomers. It's a game that shines brightest for fans of retro platformers and those with a soft spot for challenging, nostalgic experiences. The New Zealand story is a family-friendly game, making it suitable for a wide range of ages. The cute characters and whimsical art style appeal to younger players, while the challenging gameplay and platforming mechanics can engage older players or retro gaming enthusiasts. That said, due to its high difficulty level, younger kids under 8 might find the game frustrating. For those around 10 and older, especially if they enjoy challenging platformers or retro games, it can be a rewarding experience. The game's lack of mature themes or violence ensures it's safe for kids, but its steep learning curve makes it ideal for more experienced or patient players. The New Zealand story features several boss fights throughout the game. Each world typically ends with a unique boss encounter, adding variety to the standard platforming gameplay. These bosses are often larger creatures or machines, each with distinct attack patterns and weak points that players must learn to exploit. The boss fights require precise movement and timing, as well as figuring out how to avoid their attacks while finding opportunities to strike back. They add to the game's challenge, fitting well with the overall difficulty curve. Notably, the boss designs are as quirky as the rest of the game, with some memorable and creative enemies, which keeps the experience fresh and adds excitement to each level's climax. If you're a fan of retro platformers or you enjoy challenging games with unique art styles, then the New Zealand story is definitely worth a try. However, if you're not a fan of old-school difficulty or expect modern fluidity in controls, you might find it more frustrating than fun. It's a game that holds up well for those who appreciate its era, but may not appeal to everyone.